Now with the release of the all-new Insta360 AcePro, these sit right here against these guys, the DJI Action 4 as well as the GoPro Hero 12. Now if you have seen my previous video, I went in more detail talking about all of the new features of the Insta360 AcePro. But in this video, I do want to focus more about comparing these three cameras right here, talking about the pros and the cons, what are some things that this one has that these might, also vice versa. And right before we jump into those side-by-side comparisons, let's quickly talk about some of the specs of the cameras. First, when it comes down to sensor size, 1/1.3 inch sensor on the Ace Pro. We also have a 1/1.3 inch sensor on the Action 4. Here we have a smaller sensor, 1/1.9 inch on the GoPro Hero 12. One feature that is nice about the new Ace Pro is that this lens is co-engineered with Leica. I am kind of curious if DJI would come out with their next action camera possibly in conjunction with Hasselblad, since they do a lot of Hasselblad stuff with their drones. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe like an Action 5 with a co-engineered with Hasselblad. Next, let's talk about aperture. We have an f2.5 on the GoPro Hero 12. We have an f2.6 on the Ace Pro, and the DJI Action 4 has an f2.8. As far as weight, the DJI comes in at the lightest, 145 grams. The GoPro Hero 12 comes in at 154 grams, and the Ace Pro comes in at the heaviest side, 180 grams. Now when it comes down to removable lens, this is one thing that these two cameras do have. They actually do have removable outer lenses. The Ace Pro does not. It is going to have a fixed lens right on the very front, a fixed cover on the front of that camera lens. Now, despite not having a removable cover like we do on these action cameras, Insta360 is offering free maintenance on damaged lens guards for the very first year after purchase. The only thing you have to cover is the shipping back to Insta360, but at least you know you have an option because of the fact you can't remove the lens guard like you can on these cameras. Those are just some high-level specs of these cameras. I do want to show you guys some side-by-side footage. I am going to keep everything in auto white balance, auto settings. The one thing with the Ace Pro is that there is a new AI denoising chip on here, which is supposed to definitely help in low light scenarios. So I will be shooting in a mode that they call pure video mode, which like I said is supposed to help in low light scenarios. The DJI Action 4 is also going to be shooting in the auto low light enhancement, but for the most part I'm going to be shooting at 4K 30. There's going to be some shots in there that I did shoot for 5.3, and I will label those down below. Now, when it comes to zooming in on the Ace Pro, we do have a 2x zoom without the loss of quality. One of the most recent firmware updates actually bumped up the resolution up to 8K 24 frames a second. Here on the DJI and the GoPro, we do have digital zoom on both of these. When it comes down to color profiles, we do have an 8-bit color profile on the Ace Pro. Here on the GoPro and the Action, we have it bumped up to 10-bit. Here on Insta360's camera, we do have a standard vivid as well as a flat color profile. The flat profile is one you're gonna wanna use if you wanna do some color grading on there, but there is no log format. We do have log here on these two. Next feature on the Ace Pro, which of course you can see that the other two don't have, we have a 2.4-inch flip-up touchscreen, so you're able to see everything on this large touchscreen. Something you can't do here. Well, you can see one on the small one, but this is also, the GoPro is not a touchscreen. It's only for viewing. And here on the DJI Action 4, it is a full color touchscreen, but it is integrated into the camera. I did find a bunch of uses for this touchscreen, especially if you're mounting it somewhere and you wanted to have your camera low, you're able to see your screen from the top. If you're looking straight down, you're able to flip this up and see this way. Or if you're mounting it on the inside of a car, you're able to have a larger touchscreen than these cameras here. If you're just doing some basic shooting and vlogging, having that flip screen is a nice feature. But if you are the type, like I talked about earlier, if you're mounting it in places that the camera might take a beating, then you also have another thing here to worry about, another moving part that can be exposed to taking a hit. Where here on these cameras, you don't have those extra moving parts. You have the ability to have screens without having the extra swivel that we do here on the Ace Pro. Next, let's talk about mounting options. And the one thing I do like about the Ace Pro, which I really like about the DJI Action 4, is that they also have their own magnet and clip system, just like the Action 4 did. And they also have this accessory, and I really hope DJI and GoPro adopt something like this. It's a low profile mount that clips on just like so. But the one thing I do like about this one is that you have the ability to lock the mount. So with the standard mount, if you are locked in here, you are able to press the sides and easily pop it off. But this one has a lock. So all you do is lock it. And now when you press those sides in, the camera won't come out. Next, I want to talk about some AI features that the Ace Pro offers that these cameras don't. The first one we have is AI highlights. And what that one does, once you toggle it on, you swipe down, turn on AI highlights. And what this does is that when you are out there recording with AI highlights on, it will automatically flag certain parts of your video and mark them within your timeline. It'll mark some of the action parts of your video that the AI thinks that you might want to keep. And you can scrub through those in your video and you can easily delete them, or you can actually save new ones by actually clicking on the screen and saving your own highlight. And what that does is allow you to take a video that could be really, really long and say you don't want to save the entire video. You only want to save certain clips of your video. You're able to export out all of those highlights either as separate smaller clips, or you can merge them all into one highlight clip and then delete the main video. That way you're able to save storage while you're on the go. Next feature that the Ace Pro has that I really like is the ability to pause your recording. So if you're out there shooting and you don't want to necessarily stop the recording and it ends the clip and then start a new clip, you can actually go out, say you're riding your bike and you go to a stop sign and you want to just pause it. You're able to pause the video or pause the recording, and then when you start going again, you can unpause it, and then when you're done, you just hit stop, and all those video clips will just be saved into one clip. One new feature that the Ace Pro does have that these don't is the ability to cancel recording. Now what that means is that if you're out there recording, say you're trying to record some action going on, and you happen to be recording for minutes at a time and you realize, man, nothing is really happening. Now, instead of actually stopping the recording where you would normally do that with an action camera, you would stop it and then say you want to delete that footage, you'd have to go into your preview and then hit delete, and then you can take that off your memory card. Where if you just shoot and then you press and hold, when you press and hold, it'll automatically stop and cancel that previous recording. So that way it doesn't take up any memory on your card, and then you can start recording again when the action comes your way. Next, let's talk about battery life. The DJI comes in at 1770 milliamp battery rated for 160 minutes. The GoPro has a 1720 milliamp battery. This is rated for about 90 minutes. And the Ace Pro has a 1650 milliamp battery rated for about 100 minutes record time. Now, the one thing that's nice about these two cameras is that they do support fast charging. So if you want to get back up there and running and shooting again, these have fast charging. The GoPro still takes a few hours for you to fully charge the battery. When it comes down to GPS and your action cameras, these two cameras right here, the Action 4 as well as the Insta360 AcePro, do support a remote control GPS module. The GoPro Hero 12 recently pulled out the GPS from being internal, and they also don't have an external way for you to record GPS, which is a bummer for a lot of people that like having the GPS data and also the telemetry to do some overlays. Now, of course, as action cameras, they are meant to take a beating. They are all waterproof. We have a rated up to 18 meters in depth waterproof for the Action 4 here, the Insta360, as well as the GoPro, rated for 10 meters in depth. What's your thoughts when it comes down to video quality when putting them side by side? Also, some of the features as far as AI goes, yeah, I will give that to the Insta360. There's definitely some cool features there. And if you guys want to see some of the other things that the AcePro has to offer, make sure you guys check out my video above as well as down below in the video description. As always, if you guys got value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. This is Ultra Stasio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys next video. Take care.